If you don't have a mind of your own, you're going to go whichever way the crowd moves.
Yeah, yeah. Comfortably me, heavy.
Hey, beautiful, welcome back. And if you are new here, welcome. Listen, today we're going to dive into the effects that social media has on our mental health. And this is a big one because little do you know, this thing plants seeds. And not all of it is bad, but depending on the type of content that you look at on a daily basis, it can have a negative impact on your life and the way you feel about yourself. So let's get into it. Did you know that the average teenager spends around 5 hours on social media and the average adult in America spends about 2 hours and 24 minutes on social media? And we are the same adults that say we don't have enough time in a day to spend time with God. I'm just saying, literally, if we stop idle scrolling, we can make time for other things that will make us more productive human beings and more self-aware. You know, like I said before, social media does have its positive impacts, but that's not why we're here. Like I mentioned before, not everything about social media is bad. We have these platforms that do work well for us. You know, people make money off of social media. People are able to stay connected to their family and friends and actually network with people all across the world, not just people that live in the same city or same state as us. So it's a beautiful thing when it comes to that aspect. Sometimes you got to think about it this way. Although there are some good, over-consuming anything has a negative effect, especially on our mental health. What are you allowing into your eye gates is very important. In Romans chapter 12, verse 2, it says, "Do not be conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewal of your mind." Romans chapter 12, verse 2. Okay, with that being said, you cannot sit on social media and think that what you're seeing on a continuous basis is not planting seeds. Like, for instance, you're on your workout journey. You know, you want to get more in shape. So you start following these workout girls online that have the perfect body in your mind, that have your goal body, right? You keep seeing them work out, and sometimes what you see is not real life, where these people went out and got surgery, but now they're working out. They took a shortcut, but you're doing it from the ground up. You're not trying to take any shortcuts, but you're here modeling your life, modeling your fitness journey after someone who took a shortcut. So you may feel like you're not seeing the results fast enough because your body does not look as transformed as them. It begins to have an altering effect of how you view yourself, how you view your fitness journey. You may want to give up, or you may want to find other avenues so you can get the results quicker. But you would have never felt that way if you hadn't been following those type of pages. If you focus only solely on your journey, you would not get sidetracked or start comparing yourself to other people. You have to always think about who and what is influencing you on a daily basis. Before, back then, every time we turned on the TV, there was a commercial trying to influence us to buy something or tell us why we need certain things, or even how we should wear our hair when it came to rap videos and music videos and what was in culture. But now it's all over. As soon as you get on your phone, is readily available to you. You don't have to wait till 6 p.m. for TRL or 106 in Park to come on. I'm telling my age, but for real, you don't have to wait for those things to come on. It's readily available on your phone. We have pages like Shade Room. We have the Instagram models. We have the influencers, and we have the content creators that curate content that is pleasing for the eye. It may not be what they do on a daily basis, but it draws you in. You have to think about, why is it drawing you in, and what impact does it have on your mental health? What impact does it have on you mentally? And a lot of times when you watch these people online on a continuous basis, you begin to think like them. You can't even form your own opinion because you're so swayed by what you see on social media, because it's influenced by culture, or it's influenced by who you take to online, who you look up to, who is influencing you at the moment. So you don't have a mind of your own. And like that verse said, do not conform to the things of this world, but be transformed by the renewal of your mind. So if you don't have a mind of your own, you're going to go whichever way the crowd moves. You're not going to where God is calling you to, but you're going the opposite way. And that's not you being in full alignment with who you are and who God has called you to be. And that's where we get messed up at. And that's why over consuming content, whether it be good or bad, bad, it can have a lasting effect on you. And a lot of times when you are on social media, you see someone's highlight reel. They're not showing you the journey. And there are some people that highlight the journey to their success, but in your mind, it still happened overnight because you weren't with them 10 years ago. You're just with them in the month of February. And you thinking like, oh my gosh, they already hit $1 million and I've been working on a $1 million plan. I've been working on my business for over 5 years, but you weren't with them 10 years ago when they were struggling to get this idea off the ground. So it'll make you feel like you're behind in life because you haven't attained the success that they have. And although they're documenting their journey, you feel like you should be farther than them, or you feel like what you're doing is not enough because you're constantly comparing yourself and your journey to someone else's. And then it's easy to begin to feel like, well, maybe I should do it like this. And you start to mimic how you do your business or how you show up in rooms based off of what you see on social media or based off of what is influencing you. And like I said, again, it's not really moving in your authenticity. How that weighs down on your mental health is you begin to be overwhelmed because when you show up in rooms not like yourself and who God has called you to be, it's always going to be the spirit crying out like, this is not me. It's disassociating with who you're trying to be because it's not really you. You're not in alignment with your inner self. So when you're trying to fake it like someone else or try to be something that you're not, your spirit is always going to cry out like, get me out of here. This is the wrong way. We got to redirect, make a U-turn. Or you should have made that like left turn. So yeah, it's easy to feel overwhelmed or get overwhelmed because you're trying to fit in a box that God never called you to be in. And when you get overwhelmed, it's easy to feel the attacks of anxiety, depression, because you feel lost. You're working towards something, but nothing is ever manifesting in the natural. Like the results that you want to see is not manifesting. And it's only because you're doing it the wrong way. You're trying to copy and paste something that God didn't tell you to do. Like you're trying to copy and paste someone else's life to make it your own because you're being influenced by the wrong thing. And granted, there are some positive things that you can be influenced by and it can actually catapult you in your journey and your success. But you have to ask yourself, is this really for me? Is this what I truly believe? Or am I allowing social media to influence and impact me and my mental health? And studies have found that heavy social media use is linked to depression, low self-esteem, and the feeling of anxiety. You can honestly see that in your life. Take a step back and start to write down when you start to feel a certain way. What were you over consuming? What were you internalizing on social media to make it alter your brain, make it alter how you feel about yourself, your overall confidence, and your overall worthiness? Like if you don't feel worthy, you being on social media is not going to help it. You spending time and getting to know yourself is what you actually need to do. Cultivating a real relationship, not only with God, but with yourself. Go outside and touch some grass. I'm just going to be real. Go outside and touch grass because you cannot continuously live a life where you compare yourself with people you do not know. Even the people that you do know that have these highlight reels and you thinking like, oh my gosh, we grew up together and they're so much farther than me. And it's just like, bro, do you remember when y'all both were struggling, where y'all both started off at? And yes, they probably stayed on course. That's why you need to get on course. Like there's nothing good that God wants to withhold from you, but you have to be in alignment. And that's the thing. Get in alignment. And also, it's easy to have a lustful eye after these things. Like even when it comes to relationships and friendships, that it alters the way you feel and the way you think, how you're supposed to show up in relationships or how your partner is supposed to show up for you. That is things that you never desired before. And granted, some things you did not know until you were exposed to it. I'm a big believer on that. Like you won't know until you're exposed to something that you really like it. Like if you never ate a steak from Steak 48 and you've been eating steak from Applebee's, once you get a taste of that steak from Steak 48, you're never going to want to eat Applebee's steak ever again. So I get it. Exposure is a beautiful thing and it helps elevate you in a certain way. But if you're taking what you see on social media, like from these girls who are doing unboxings of luxurious designer bags, and you're thinking like, oh, well, if he don't buy me this, that means he doesn't love me. And it's just like, how are you expecting someone that's in college working a minimum wage job to buy you a Louis Vuitton purse? It's not saying that that person doesn't value you. That person person cannot afford it at that time. That person is working towards something. So really seeing where you are, like certain things you never valued before until you got on social media. You allowed the voices on social media to alter how you perceive relationships and what you deem as love and what is acceptable in dating. Like, what exactly do you like? What will make you feel more appreciative? Because in all honesty, somebody buying you a $3,000 bag does not mean they value you. That person just maybe have the means to afford it, and they can treat you like trash. I'm just being real, been there, done that, and I never want to go back. I'm just being real with you, knowing that you are valuable and it's not a ticket price. And don't allow social media to make you think like, oh, if I'm not receiving this, if I'm not getting this, or if my lifestyle is not set up like this, then it's just not acceptable. I'm not doing right. I'm way behind in life. That is a lie. And you need to get back focused. It's okay to want more from life. I'm not saying anything like that. But if you start to belittle yourself and downplay yourself, it's just not a good feeling. That's something that literally attacks your self-worth. You don't feel worthy, and you attach your worthiness to tangible things. And once you don't have those tangible things, you're going to feel unworthy. You're not going to feel like you're that girl or that people want you. And that's when the spirit of rejection creeps in. And I did a video on rejection before, and that spirit comes to kill, steal, and destroy and make you stay stagnant and feel unaccepted. No, we're calling you out of that. According to 1 John chapter 2, verse 15 through 17, it says, do not love the world or anything in the world. If anyone loves the world, love for the Father is not in them. For everything in the world, the lust of the flesh, the lust of the eyes, and the pride of life comes not from the Father, but from the world. The world and its desires pass away, but whoever does the will of God lives forever. So being lustful, like chasing after things, you have to think about this. I look at everything as spiritual, so that's why I'm bringing Bible into this. You cannot covet what your neighbor has. When you constantly are viewing someone else's life, and obviously someone's going to post out the good things that are happening for them, very rare that someone puts out like the negative things, or when they're actually going through the storm of it. We do appreciate those people too, but that's not what we're focused on. We mostly consume the good things, the things that give us the dopamine high. You will begin to feel jealous or envious of your neighbor. And when you are jealous and envious of other people, you can't be in healthy relationships. You're going to be in relationships and friendships with people you are in secret competition with. You're not going to have any real friends around you because you're jealous and envious, because you're looking at social media like it's real life, and you're not deeming yourself as worthy or accepted because you're comparing yourself. And comparison is the thief of joy. I know you hear it all the time, but it is reality. And there's a such thing as cyberbullying that plays a big part in mental health when it comes to social media. How many times do we have to hear that these kids or someone unalives themselves because they were being bullied on social media? So it has a direct impact on our mental health when you have people criticizing you on a daily basis, people who do not know you or even care about you for the matter, but they take the time out of their life, out of their day to write negative things about you. It's just like, who asked? But that's something you can't avoid. But if you spend less time on social media, you won't even pay attention to those comments. And there are such things as word blockers. So if someone writes a specific word, it will just not even post it. It will go to spam or something. You have to do anything to protect your mental health. This is all about you, not people pleasing, not trying to do it just for the views. So if you take away the negative people, it just drops down your views. Listen, if it protects your peace, if it protects your mental health, it is everything. Learn to care about yourself and put yourself first. Because if your mental health is not up to par, where would you be? Like, you'll be tossed here and there. And your lack of self-esteem is rooted in wanting to be accepted by other people. And that's why you try to take on an aesthetic that is not for you. And I also want to touch on this. When it comes to social media, how you even perceive friendships. Like, if your friend group doesn't look this way, you don't feel like, oh, you want to hang out with them. It even changes your perception of what kind of people you want to be friends with, because everything has to look a certain way and you're not really fostering genuine relationships. Red flag. And you are the red flag. Friendship is not based off of an aesthetic. Yeah, we may like the same things, but it's based off of love, loyalty, and being just like-minded, having the same goals, and definitely morals. Like, Like if we don't have the same morals, I don't care what we may have in common, it's not gonna last. I have a lot of people, we like fashion, we like this, but we don't have the same morals. We don't stand on the same principles. So I'm not standing next to you, period. Let's get into how to protect your mental health when consuming social media, because a lot of us, it's our part of our job and we just enjoy it. That's what we get inspiration from. So I'm not telling you to like completely turn it off, because I guess it's a part of life now, you know, believe it or not. But this is how you'll protect your mental health while consuming social media. Limit your time, set boundaries, set a timer if you have to. I know that's kind of extreme, but you need to be extreme about you. This is about your freedom. This is about your mental health. This is about becoming a better version of yourself. Unfollow toxic accounts. Unfollow anyone that makes you feel less than. And I know that's kind of like harsh to say because it may be people that you really know, but when you are viewing their content, it makes you feel some type of way. That's a personal issue. So yeah, if you want to reach out to them and let them know, hey, I'm going to unfollow you real quick, or just hide their profile because you're not, I don't want to say mature enough, but you're not healed enough to consume their content at the time, because you're trying to get over this. You're trying to overcome this jealousy, this envy, right? And also even pages that maybe make you question your looks or your body image. Unfollow those pages. It's not healthy. Start to follow things that can uplift your spirits and motivate you and encourage you on a daily. Also, replace the scrolling with time with God. Replace the idle scrolling with time with God. That's the best advice I can give you, for real. And, you know, taking social media breaks is very important. Not only spending time with God, but finding out what else you can do with your time, like going out, finding new hobbies. And that's where you'll meet more like-minded people and different types of people who may share the same interests as you. And that's expanding your community so you can have more things to do with more people. And change the way you show up online. You got to change the way you show up online as well. What do you want to be known for? And what do you want to be remembered by? Your social media is not just for the views or just for your family and friends, but this is I like to say, a gallery of your life. This is like a museum for you. So whatever you post stays. Like social media, I don't care if you delete it, it's still there. So you just got to remind yourself about that. Like, what do I want to be remembered by, and what do I want to be known for? Because many times I see when people pass away, I see their last post on their story. I see their last post on their page, and it's just like, wow, they're gone forever, but their page still remains. So that's something to think about. And I hope this video helped you, knowing to get back focused and not compare yourself, that know that you are worthy. And social media is not the end all be all. Who cares what they are doing? Stay focused on what you have to do and what God has for you. Lock in. That's all I'm going to say. Social media is a tool. You have to remember that. And just make sure you use it the correct way. And sometimes you have to ask yourself, am I over consuming social media right now? You have to be real with yourself. Listen, this is the year of being more self-aware, because you can't just be falling for the same thing over and over again. Okay, we're glowing up this year. Do not forget to like and comment this video and let me know what you're going to be doing instead of idle scrolling. Till next time, bye.